like to welcome Jamie Matvyeff, is that right? Not bad. And Jamie is presenting the abstract reflections on using telehealth in home modification practice with clients with newly acquired spinal cord injury in Queensland, the pros and challenges. So please make Jamie welcome.
So, it's a bit of a long-winded title, but just to pad that out a little bit more. Firstly, I guess to give you some context, I'm from an organisation called Lifetech. Lifetech used to be the Independent Living Centre in Queensland. Some people are a bit more familiar with that organisation. Our goal is we're an allied health team of physiotherapists, speech therapists and occupational therapists, and our goal is to assist people to achieve their goals through the correct use and application of assistive technologies. In this case, this includes recommendations on major and minor home modifications. So I coordinate a program called the Spinal Cord Injury Response Program, which exists to assist people with newly acquired spinal injury to transition from the spinal injury unit at the PA hospital in Brisbane back to the community. I'll call it SCIR for short. SCIR is comprised of three components: funding for equipment, funding for care, and funding for home modifications. As of the 1st of January 2013, Lifetech has been coordinating the SCIR program from the assessment through to the recommendations and implementation of home modifications. So that includes management of building contractors, the occupational therapists and anyone else who may be involved in that process. All clients who have newly acquired spinal injury are inpatients in the PA hospital spinal injury unit and living in their own home or have a long-term rental lease in the state of Queensland are eligible for this service. Our aim is to ensure that the process is collaborative with the client remaining at the centre of the program. From the first step, the client works alongside the hospital-based occupational therapist, the Lifetech OTs, and building contractor to ascertain what modifications will be required to enable their safe discharge from hospital back to their own home. So because the Brisbane-based PA hospital is catchment hospital and main rehabilitation hospital in Brisbane for spinal injury unit, in Queensland for recent spinal injuries, and because Lifetech is also based in Brisbane, we knew it wasn't feasible or even possible to take each and every client home from hospital for the purpose of a home visit. So, because all of our clients come from all over the state, they're not just Brisbane based. So we asked ourselves two questions. How do we ensure the client is included in the full prescriptive process if we can't get them to site? And how do we offer a service that is equitable, timely and cost effective across a state the size of Queensland? So Lifetech had already driven a pilot project involving the assessment and recommendation of home mods using live video or synchronous links with on-site builders and clients in regional areas in the Central West area. These were successful. So we already had builders who understood some of the general requirements around major home mods for people with spinal cord injury. We knew no matter what, the builder needed to be physically on site to determine what could and couldn't be done in the built environment. And we knew we wanted the client to be actively involved in the process, and we believed the best way to do that was to be with the client at one end while the builder was at their house on the other end of a video link. So the model was determined, and all that was left was to try it in this client group, for this client group. We started with regional clients. We investigated mainstream web-based video call technology options, and we stayed with Skype. It was the most prolific. Our clinicians were already using it to carry out advisory consultations at Lifetech. Some of our builders had personal experience in using it, and some of our clients and their families were also familiar with it from personal use. And so we stayed with the client and the builder travelled to site. Often they would be met on site by a family member or friend. So what we discovered over the 3 years we've been administering the program, this model facilitates the therapist to engage directly with and build a rapport with the client. It ensures the client's wishes, suggestions and goals are acknowledged and clearly understood by all parties in real time. Enables the client to see their home environment and the barriers that need removing for them to be able to return home also in real time. It helps in their journey of acceptance of the changes that will be made to their home. It enables the builder to start planning the job, determining material requirements, plan accessibility and so on. And it gives us a builder on site to ask questions and receive immediate answers, as well as providing additional asynchronous information such as house plans, bathroom measurements, plumbing layouts, electrical layouts, elevations, as well as video and photos of site after the fact as well. So we get a good conglomerate of information. So benefits to the client. The client is central to the whole process, the whole decision-making process, which equals greater acceptance of the modifications. Telehealth allows clients to see their homes, often for the first time following their injury. It can be a very emotional time, but the client has a better understanding of what's going on, is able to see those potential barriers, and is able to better prepare themselves for the changes that will take place when they return home. They are empowered by the ability to be part of the decision-making process at a time when feelings of empowerment are lacking. It's not just regional clients who can benefit. Telehealth practice has been used for some of our urban clients also who were unable to leave hospital for various medical reasons, or simply just unable to get into their home due to them being mid-set, high-set or two-storey homes. And we couldn't physically get them up the stairs, so we've given them still access to their home via video link. It's resulted in reduced waiting times. Telehealth has enabled us to reduce wait times. Instead of having to allocate time to travel, which in Queensland, as all of you probably know, it can take up to 3 and 4 days just to get somewhere and back. We can arrange the appointments in a timely manner. We go to the hospital, we complete the appointment at a specified time, and generally we have our report and recommendations done within a week rather than a week and a half or 2 weeks, which would happen if we needed to travel to assess the site. And it also reduces the length of hospital stay. By getting the process started sooner, client is still in the early stages of their rehab, and it means the client's home modifications are completed quicker, expediting discharge and preventing all the associated issues that you can get with prolonged hospital stays, such as deconditioning, pressure injuries, and depression, amongst other things. So, what are the organisational benefits? From the 1st of January 2016, so 1st of Jan this year, we've conducted 9 regional home assessments via telehealth methods for 9 new patients in the spinal injury unit. And these spread across the state as depicted up there on the screen. That's 9 from a total of 33 referrals that we've addressed, so that's 27% of our referrals we've addressed using telehealth. And that mightn't sound like much until you consider the following. Without telehealth as an option, our occupational therapists would have travelled about 20,000 k's across Queensland, flown to Cairns 3 times, flown to Townsville twice, flown to Mount Isa once, driven to the Wide Bay region 3 times at a total of 2,000 odd kilometres, would have paid 12 plus days of car hire, and we would have paid 9 plus days in accommodation. Not to mention allowances for meals, petrol costs, wear and tear on our own vehicles when we weren't hiring, and so on. These are all cost savings and the efficiencies through the use of telehealth. Some of the barriers we faced in practice, which may be shared by some of you, although a lot of people I've noticed are from Queensland Health, and I think your connections are a lot more stable than the ones we use, but nevertheless, available technology. Access to suitable technology, even though our clinicians have smartphones, etc., there's still some builders and clients we come across who don't have or sometimes don't want to start using the right tools for any kind of video linkage. Connectivity, we need to have good connectivity to get the good sound and video, particularly when we're trying to assess the built environment. Bad connectivity can and often does quickly result in frustration all round, although connectivity is getting better, and obviously we're hoping with the rollout of the NBN that will improve even further. Initial acceptance of technology, this has been a problem across the board. People are sometimes unwilling to change how they work. For our builders needing to call back to OTs, it's a very different way of working for them. Initially they were pretty resistant, but over time they've really come to appreciate the technology and what it enables, that synchronous, at the time, communication with the client and the therapist. Training to improve efficiency of service provision. So LifeTech identified a few years ago that telehealth would be common in our future practices, and as such we developed a specific role focusing on developing a digital transition strategy and developing resources around the implementation and showing people how easy this can be. This included training with our building contractors, training they have continued to develop, which has led to more successful events. Video versus real life assessment and recommendation. I think it's pretty fair to say that any OT would, and all of us would prefer to be actually face to face and on site with our client. It always would make things easier, but even though through the use of synchronous video links they've proven to be invaluable, it remains important to supplement this with asynchronous photos and site drawings and follow-up discussions, and if we really do need to, we will go on site. A changing healthcare landscape. Recent funding cuts to this program, as the NDIS is slowly rolled out, has resulted in even greater challenges when it comes to rural, regional and remote assessments. Often now we have to use a local builder to reduce costs, and this means each time we enter a new location we need to quickly train a local builder in the effective use of video links and ensure they have the appropriate hardware to carry out the assessments. This is likely to become even more prevalent with the self-directed funding where the cheaper solutions may be sought by clients rather than the best solutions. So where do we go from here? Without a doubt, telehealth will continue to become a more and more prevalent part in our day-to-day practice, especially with all the benefits associated with the timeliness of service delivery, the cost effectiveness for service providers and the general efficiencies that it enables. But there are some key elements we feel need to continue to develop for us. We need to investigate ways to better train people in the use of the technology to conduct successful events so that the practice is more readily accepted in the future. We can't expect others to adopt a practice without providing the appropriate support and having successful trials and outcomes. Need to investigate ways to improve and/or hope for improvement in the connectivity, 3G, 4G, Wi-Fi and so on, to increase the quality of our calls. Maybe the NBN will be the answer. Maybe just changes in improvements in technology will be too. Using video links even more throughout the home modification process to work with the builder while they are on site to problem solve, to follow up, to replace the usual telephone calls and site visits, and using telehealth more in general by providing strategically placed access points to enable this. Excuse me. Which brings me to what LifeTech are doing now to improve our telehealth services. In addition to the mobile telehealth connectivity options used with our builders, we're also creating fixed telehealth locations where clients can be accessed or access LifeTech LifeTech health professionals. We have them in Brisbane and Townsville and recently launched sites in Ballina and Hervey Bay also. Within a year, we hope to have additional sites in Darwin, Cairns, Rockhampton, Toowoomba and Sydney. These access points provide a stable point-to-point connection for client consultations, engagement with clients, family, friends and service providers, as well as peer support for health professionals and much more. We've partnered with like-minded organisations and service providers in urban and regional locations to complement their services with our own expert understanding of assistive technology and how these can be best assist their clients. If you'd like to know more, please feel free to contact us at LifeTech, and thank you for your time today.